Now, as a documentary maker, Stacey Dooley isn't afraid to navigate all sorts of complicated situations. And now she is tackling what she calls messy motherhood. Here to tell us more, it's Stacey Dooley.
It's a bit of stars in your eyes.
It is, isn't it?
Tonight, Matthew, I thought...
Did no one tell you to bring your tap shoes?
I could have done a bit of dance out.
So messy motherhood, Stacey. Why is it messy?
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Does anyone? I mean, actually, I sort of don't want to sound too twee or too, like, worthy or whatever, but I'm actually really loving this period. I think it's actually my fave.
How old is she now?
Two, just turned 2. And she's like... She's just a million miles an hour, but when they start talking, it's just a different... It's like it's just a game changer. And she's really sort of... She's just me 2.0. Like, I'm raising myself. So I need to strap in. But no, I'm loving it. I think I wasn't very prepared. I wasn't particularly organised. Didn't do any of the classes, didn't read any of the books, didn't listen to a podcast.
Why not? Was that like a choice that you didn't want to?
I think I just thought it would be easy. Honestly,
how are you feeling about that now?
I was like, I've never been more wrong about anything in my entire life. I thought it can't be that tricky.
Did you have friends that had children?
Yeah, so all my pals had kids. And I used to think, oh, they'll be all right. You know, oh, they need a nap. I thought, oh, just bring them along. They'll be all right if they don't nap.
Yeah.
But it is wicked. It is monumental. And she is, my best.
So what did you find more difficult than you anticipated then?
The sleep deprivation was tricky for me, didn't it? Like, I'm not great if I haven't had any sleep. And honest to God, it's like... I mean, they use it as a form of sort of torture, don't they? For a very good reason. And it's so intermittent. Like, you'll have 20 minutes, and she was on the boob, so I was up and down the entire time. You'll have 20 minutes, and then you'll be up. Then you'll be up for 4 hours, then you'll get another 40 minutes, then you're up again. That for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
I just remember walking around.
You've got a book out now, which is Dear Minnie.
Yes.
So it's conversations with remarkable mothers.
Yeah.
So Dear Minnie, is it Dear Minnie, go to sleep?
Dear Minnie, could you go to sleep? Could you go to bed at 7 o'clock, actually? That gives me a bit of an evening. But it's,
What kind of remarkable mums are we talking about here?
So it's the reason... So we were flirting with the idea, you know, do we do a book about motherhood? I mean, it's such an oversaturated space, right? It's like everybody's got an opinion and everybody does things differently. And I was sort of so mindful that my experience of motherhood was pretty straightforward. It was relatively straightforward. Getting pregnant, you know, we were very lucky in that regard. The pregnancy itself, the birth was OK, but that's not representative. Do you know what I mean? That's not universal.
Yeah.
So I said to them, you know, in theory, I'd like to write a book, but we have to include other mothers. So, it feels like we're hearing from different important perspectives. So there's loads of mums. There's, like, a mum who has set up roots. She's sort of set her roots down here now. She's had to flee her country. A single mum, a mum of triplets, a teen mum, a mother who's, like, this amazing barrister, and she also happens to be blind.
And was the visit to the Was the visit to the convent?
Yeah. So
where they don't have any babies.
Yeah. That's maybe why they sold the idea to me. But I was making a documentary and I was staying with a load of sisters in Whitby, so I was in this convent, and they were a scream. I can't tell you, I don't know what I was expecting. I thought they were going to be quite straight-laced and quite square, you know? I thought I was going to feel like I was at my grandparents' or whatever. They were a delight. They were, like, great company. They were so kind of progressive and a lot more liberal than I'd maybe anticipated. And I was talking to Sister Helen and Sister Grace, and Sister Helen was basically going to me, so, you know, what are your plans for the future? And I'd always been a bit ambivalent. I was like, oh, you know, whatever, we'll see. Whatever happens, happens. She was like, Stacey, you know, this career isn't going to last forever. And then what are you going to do? And I was like, what am I going to do?
She was trying to set you into a panic.
You need to come and live at the convent with
I was having this existential crisis. I was like, am I going to become a sister? I've probably missed that boat. But I did, on a serious note, it did make me think about, you know, did I want to be a mum? And I can't say it was a non-negotiable for me, and I think you've spoken about this really articulately in the past. Like, I was, you know, there was never that desire within me necessarily. I was never hugely maternal. But actually, you know, thank God she is knockout. Like, it is it is the best thing I've ever done. But so if I hadn't gone to the convent, who knows? It's funny, isn't it? Like the conversations you have.
How weird.
Yeah, but
Did they get you involved in TikTok? Because you know there's nun talk as well.
Really?
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Oh, I don't
Really?
know.
Yeah, nun
nun
talk.
talk. Yeah.
But they really love, like, they love Strictly. They like, because they're not really meant to watch telly, but they have an hour on a Saturday. And they were, like, rooting for, you know, Johannes and Jot. They were, like, really cool.
Yeah.
They were, like, yeah, really unexpected. I must bring the baby to go and see the sisters, actually.
Yeah.
Ta-da! You're babysitting this, you're
I certainly know that when I've got two daughters, and that, like, a whole new anxiety came in when having children. It just changes you so much, doesn't it? And you have spoken about, you know, this feeling. I think so many of us have. We talk a lot here about that. About this, it almost feels like it's become more dangerous to be a woman than ever, hasn't it? Yeah. Programs like Adolescence, and in fact, I watched your documentary on Rape on Trial as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Where are you on all that?
Yes, I know. How old are your girls, Nadia?
21 and 17.
That must be scary because you know when they're tiny, you know where they are the entire time, and you're sort of in control, really, aren't you? Of what
it definitely gets harder.
I
when
bet.
They get older, yeah.
I bet. And the anxiety. My natural default. I'm relatively level-headed. I'm quite pragmatic. I sort of don't tend to catastrophise. The second Minnie came on the scene, it's like I wasn't...
Yeah.
I'm not rational because you're so in love with this baby and you're so desperate for nothing to ever happen.
And so responsible that nothing happens. That's the other thing.
You've put yourself as well, because you know I've always been a fan of your documentaries always, and the way that you involve yourself and approach them. Has there been a shift in what you are prepared to do now that you're a mum to Minnie, though?
Totally, Denise. It's like... Yeah, I mean, I think throughout my career, but, like, you know, I've sort of been making the documentary since I was 20. I'm 38, so I've been doing it 18 years, and it's been, you know, I've travelled extensively. It's been such a treat. It's been the best gig. Met brilliant people, but often it's been in hostile environments, you know, and kind of unfamiliar territory, and, you know, situations sort of unfold, you know, things can play out pretty quickly. So I think now I've got Minnie, I am saying no to you know, to a few of those gigs. But you know what? You never know. It might be in, you know, 10, 15 years' time I feel differently. But I just think for now I could probably do with sticking around. And on a practical note as well, she's got football on a Saturday. I want to be around. I want to do all, you know.
And you've got to put the work in to have another one as well, haven't you?
This is it. I know I need to get a wiggle on, really.
You do need to
She does need to pouch. She does need to, mate. Otherwise, I'm going to be reading
Kevin
that
needs
Tiger
to get
book.
a wiggle on.
Yeah. He's in Ireland, so it's not happening this week.
Well, listen, Stacey, the book is out now. It is Dear Minnie, Conversations with Remarkable Mothers who sound like they're remarkable women.
I'm so grateful, actually. I must say, they were really candid and very generous, so thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacey Dooley, everyone.